Hello, connecting on all platforms. Do 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 do. Okay. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Merriment Mondays live for the first one in 2025. Today we are going to be talking about your happiness toolkit. So I really love kits. I love having something not just theoretical, but tangible that you can physically grab in an emergency, a crisis. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk about something that's like practical and uplifting, your happiness toolkit. So this isn't really just ideas, it's also like something that you can physically create and really rely on every day, anytime that you really need it. Hello, welcome. And it's something that I'm trying to do so many things at once here that you can rely on any day that you need to feel better and that you want to feel better faster. So by the end of today, which we're going to do pretty quickly, you'll have like an idea for a personal, tangible happiness toolkit, and it can be filled with physical and mental ways to make joy and self-care and mental health a habit. So, we're gonna fill it with all those sorts of ideas, and it can be personal to you, but I'm gonna give you some tips here. And I just want you to be able to start the year strong. I've been here, I listen to personal development things myself because, you have to be a student of anything that you are passionate about. And it's so interesting how the personal development world, how like the new year is like their Super Bowl. It's so interesting because it's when so many people are really actively interested in, evolution, bettering themselves, taking on goals. So even though I feel like it's something that, you know, people in the personal development world are doing, all year and hoping that people will kind of join in at any time. This is like I love people calling it their Super Bowl around the new year. It's really interesting. So if this is something that you're new to or you're just interested in or right now or an active heightened interest, welcome. And I do want you to feel like you can start the year strong and really just have easy, accessible, simple wins that can remind you that your mental health, your self-care, your happiness, your goals are just like always within reach. So if you're here, you can tell me wherever you're tuning in from, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I want to make this always as easy for you to join in as possible. What's something that does lift your mood up? You can drop it in the chat and see how many ideas that we can share. Something that you feel like can actually change your state whatever whenever it's not really doing well. For me, like I was just listening to Spotify, and it was my the Discover Weekly. I try to listen to that once a week, and it literally had the song from the Goofy movie. It was the Stand Out song, Stand Out among the crowd, even if you're gonna shout out loud. And I just like got up and danced to that, and it was very, very invigorating. And it's just little things, I think. Whenever you're making a goal or even trying to shift your mood, it's not it's not really always very helpful to have something that is super, super intense, advanced, or really strong, to go for it. It's something very accessible that you can do within 5 minutes, especially when you're really busy, when you have different ranges of mental and physical mobility, or you're just feeling, really low. So I'd love to, if anybody is, I can see the chats from everywhere. Hello. Oh, hey, Jenny. Oh my goodness. Hello. So, okay, we're going to talk about your happiness toolkit. So think about this like a first aid kit, like a thing that, when you hurt yourself, right? It's like, oh my God, just go grab the first aid kit. We know we have band-aids in there, and there's probably other things, right? Hopefully there's something in there that we have prepared in advance. So this is more like for your emotions. So I like having kits that are ready for different moods, different themes, different kinds of stuff. So maybe it's like one is for calming down, one is for boosting yourself up. One is for a rainy day. Right here in Baltimore today, it's snowing. It's snowing so much. It's almost like it's around like 7 inches right now, and it could get up to a foot. And I'm just really into, like maybe that's a snow day kit, right? So having these things that you kind of prepare in advance, and then you can, you know, grab them whenever you need them. So the thing is that you got to use them, right? But having them ready to go is so helpful. So when life throws you a curveball or a snow day, you can be reminded that it's there, and then you know what it takes to kind of make you feel better. And also this exercise is helpful to kind of like, put you in the state of thinking, what is it that helps me feel better? So, why does this work? Why do small wins work? I've been really kind of refocusing myself recently around what is it that we can do really simply and effectively within 5 minutes that can actually reset our mood. Why do small wins actually help us? Because I think that there's still a lot in ourselves that is like, I don't think 5 minutes is going to do it for me. I don't think that something in a toolkit is actually going to be able to shift my mood. So let me just tell you just really quickly why science matters in this. Let's get our thinking brains on board for this. So the science is clear. That small intentional actions can rewire your brain for positivity. Okay. For example, something as simple as writing down 3 things you're grateful for. I know we've been told this over and over again, but the reason is that it matters, that it does work, that it is effective. That those things, writing down that 3 things you're grateful for can increase your happiness over time. There's multiple reasons for that. Things like your brain starts to look for more things to add to that list. It starts to retrain your brain's negativity bias. There's so many actual little reasons about why this is working, but researchers have found that it shifts your focus towards the positive aspects of your life, even on tough days. Okay. So there's a lot of really fun research on neural pathways and creating new neural pathways. And I think that really just allowing ourselves to embrace the small wins of life is what's really great about this. So I have this new program called the Merriment Reset, and we explore habits like this in depth. And today we're going to keep it simple so you can start creating your toolkit right now. But that's a really amazing program. And every single day we go through the science of each individual habit. And it's actually less than $1 a day. It's my new favorite thing. And it's for a whole month, you get emails and challenges, and there's everything from EFT tapping and guided meditations, guided breath work, challenges, journaling prompts, and it's so fun. It's so easy. And you can find that out at uncustomary.org or just go to uncustomary.org/merriment-reset. Okay, so let's get into building your toolkit with mental and emotional tools. All right. So, Jenny says it's 64 and raining in South Carolina. It's funny. I always think about how, if it wasn't, below freezing, it would just be raining outside. Okay, so just simple. All right. All right, let's start with quick wins, okay? So things we can do in less than 5 minutes to feel a shift. So for me, like I said earlier, the Goofy movie song came on, and that was a quick way to reset my brain and my body. So putting on a favorite song is obviously very simple, very easy, but obviously that is something that is releasing your endorphins in your body. And endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands. They just don't. Okay. So that is an actual feel-good hormone though in your body, endorphins. And a 2-minute dance party actually can shift your mood. And shifting your mood can change your day. You get to reset at any moment. I think there's a really powerful thing in reclaiming who you are in any moment, because your moments make up your day, and your days make up your life, right? So these things are all stacked. And then we have self-care staples, right? So these are daily acts of self-care that can keep your emotional tank full. These are things like basics, like drinking water and stretching and taking a moment to just breathe deeply. And obviously, those are scientifically proven to reduce your stress and improve your mood. And you can pick a couple acts of mood boosters and self-care staples. And then there's also joy amplifiers. But also, I'm going to give you a download. Okay. I'm going to give you a download of 35 things that you can add into your self-care kit. Okay. But there's also, so there's quick mood boosts, there's self-care staples, and then there's joy amplifiers. And this is where we can think bigger. And this could be like planning a small celebration, or and that could mean like like surprising yourself with balloons on a random Tuesday. And you don't need a reason to do something like that. It could also be planning a kindness mission, like leaving a note of encouragement for a stranger. I love doing things like that. I have 90 Operation Merriment missions in my group, the Merriment Makers, and they're all really fun, easy ways to do kind of like guerrilla art kindness missions for strangers. And, research shows that acts of kindness don't just make other people feel good, they also boost your own serotonin levels. So it really is a win-win. Okay, so those are kind of like theoretical concepts of understanding ways that, you know, these are things that we need to do on a day that we're not feeling as great, right? Or ways that we are proactive in keeping our mood high, right? Because we don't just want to drink water on a day that we're feeling not as good. We want to drink water daily. We want to we want to keep these what I call happiness habits, consistent in our daily lives. I also have these two really good podcast episodes about how to have a 10-minute happiness habit morning routine and evening routine, where I feel like it's just kind of bookending your day. And in the morning, it's kind of about hyping yourself up. And in the evening, it's just soothing your nervous system. And during the day, it's kind of just about keeping these happiness habits up, right? So this is about putting yourself in the way of beauty, putting yourself in the way of the muse, having like positivity on in the background, listening to things like this, even if you're not fully engaged, having things like pep talks on in the background, having audio off affirmations, having positive master classes on, having the ability to go into something that can reset you really quickly, like an EFT tapping, having these joy amplifiers planned, having self-care put on timers so that you can like check out, right? So I even do things where I have 20-minute timers on my computer so that I'm changing my vision so that I'm not draining my eyes. You do this for, self-care staples, for mood boosters, for joy amplifiers, because we don't want to deplete ourselves. We want to make sure that we're also engaging in this on a consistent basis so that we don't get drained and burned out, right? Okay, so let's talk about physical tools because I think that people get a little bit more excited about that because it feels a little more tangible. So these are things that you can physically add to a toolkit. You could put it in like a lunchbox or a satchel. It doesn't really matter. You can decorate it, obviously. And these are things that would bring a spark to you, a sense of joy to you. These could be bubbles, fidget toys, tools, stickers, a bouncy ball, a stuffed animal that brings you comfort. And I have a download for you if you joined the Positive Pulse, which is my free dashboard of classes. There's over 25 classes. There's resource guides, there's pep talks, there's no catch. You just give me your email and you get in. There's not even like a login. It's super awesome. And you can find that at uncustomary.org. And it's really fun. And this episode will be uploaded with the self-care toolkit. And it's just a way for me to make sure that people have access to resources for their mental health and self-care. And then if you ever want to upgrade to getting more resources, you can, check out the Merriment Makers or the Feel Good Troop, or you can try a one-off program like the Merriment Reset. But in that toolkit, there's going to be 35 lists, a list of 35 ways of a list of 35 ideas of tangible things to add to your toolkit, like bubbles, right? So if it doesn't make you happy, it shouldn't go in there. So if there's some adverse reaction that you have to bubbles, then don't put those in there. But you can also list out the theoretical items too, right? The mood boosts, the self-care staples, and the joy amplifiers, because I think when we're in this, low state, we forget about the basics, right? So I want you to really consider writing down the things that that do replenish you and make you happy. So the quick wins, the 5-minute things, things that are going to actually change your state, the self-care staples, the drinking water, the breathing deeply, and the joy amplifiers. So something that can actually like take you out of it and maybe focus on someone else or, go a little further for yourself, like buying yourself a balloon. Okay. And then you can write those things down as an example of, oh, this is how I can take the theory stuff, the more abstract things, and you can have those listed out and you can read them and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that stuff too. Because sometimes you don't want to play with a bouncy ball. You actually really just need to drink water, but you need that reminder in there physically. Okay. And, bubbles might seem silly, but blowing bubbles encourages deep breathing also, right? So it's giving your nervous system this calming effect. And you can also put in like B12 vitamins, which give you a natural energy boost if you're feeling sluggish. Every item on the list does have a purpose, okay? So even when there is this kind of like seemingly glittery, frivolous front, it actually really does all have a meaning. And ultimately, most of the time, when something just makes you feel good, there's a reason that it does. Okay. So a toolkit also is only useful if you remember to use it. So you got to think about not just planning it and creating it and then maybe decorating it, which could be a really fun activity for you to do today. But what's one way that you can remind yourself that it's there when you're feeling low? If you live with somebody, you could tell them, I have this thing now. And if you ever notice that I'm not feeling well, you could bring it to me. I welcome that. Or to remind me that it's there. Or like, hey, Mary, get out your happy kit, right? Or maybe it's just keeping it in a bright, visible spot and like telling yourself that. Or maybe it's about using it daily. So it's about a proactive thing, not a retroactive thing. Or is it about putting a sticky note somewhere? I don't know. So, maybe it's however you decide that you want to use this thing. So feel free if you're here live with me to tell us in the chat, like what's something that you want to put in your toolkit and how do you feel like you want to use it? Is it something that you want to do proactively, retroactively? How are you going to remind yourself to use it? And again, if you want to join the Positive Pulse, that is where you can get the access to those 2 podcast episodes about the morning and evening rituals that only take 10 minutes. They're only 4 steps each to bookend your day with happiness habits that are going to set you up for hyping yourself up in the morning and soothing your nervous system in the evening. There's even a workbook. And then you can also get the download of the PDF of 35 ideas of what to add to your self-care kit. And if you want a calm down kit, there's it's $1 in my Etsy store. So just have a look-see around uncustomary.org and you can most of these things that I'm referring to are in the Positive Pulse community, which is completely free. And yeah, okay. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me them now. And I really just appreciate you caring about yourself and your development, your goals, your happiness. This is not something that everybody does, and it really does matter. And you're taking a really big step in caring and making your joy and your mental health a daily habit. So happiness habits are great. And this happiness toolkit, put it on your to-do list today as something to do. And this is going to be a reminder that you always have the power to change how you feel. And if you love this, the Merriment Reset, I think would be a really good next step. Like it's less than $1 a day. It's only $29 and the amount of value is insane. I made it very, very cheap. You get a lesson every single day. There's printables, there's challenges, there's recorded lessons, video lessons, EFT, guided EFT tapping, meditations, breath work, challenges, journaling. I mean, it's insane. And there's also a kickoff workshop. Like, I don't know. It's really, really cool. There's a bonus. I don't know. There's a lot. So that's at uncustomary.org/merriment-reset, or you can just find it at my regular website. And there's just so many tools to make your 2025 your happiest year yet. If you're in the Positive Pulse community, don't forget to grab the PDF and I don't know, feel free to share like something that you're excited to try from the Happiness Toolkit. And if you end up doing any of these things and you want to tag me on social media, I would love that. I love seeing how you're enjoying yourselves. And you can also use the hashtag merriment making. And I just want to remind you that I have all of these things, the podcast, the YouTube, the Positive Pulse community, the Merriment Makers, the all of the stuff. So just check out uncustomary.org and remember that you have to feel good to do good. Thank you so much for being a part of this and your world and letting me be a part of yours. So let's make this year the most joyful year yet. I'll see you next time, Merriment Makers. I love you. Bye-bye.